Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to the Macro Lounge podcast. I am, as always, your co-host Chris Bold, joined by the incredibly stunning and barely keeping her eyes open today, Rachel Mead.
Yeah, I am not so functional at this point of prep. We are very tired and very low on carbs, so I apologize. I'm basically here for decoration at this point. For the next few weeks, I'm decoration.
Well, you've got all the sparkles going, so you should be fine.
Exactly. Chris is the main event here at this point. So, Chris, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? Today we're talking about the Joe Ulberg Classic in Wellington, the NZIFBB Wellington Champs, which was on this past weekend here in New Zealand. Two shows in today. We had the natural portion up first and then followed by the open regional. So we'll go through a little bit of those, a little bit about how that show went, and obviously getting ready for the tail end of the season. So it was good. I was down there with three of our teammates, which was awesome. We had Naomi in Masters, we had Fiona in Masters and Open, and then of course we had Natalia as well in the Open for both Naturals and Regionals. And we'll talk a little bit about them as we go through. But yeah, it was a good show. Good audience. It was the first time they've done a show at the Wellington East Girls. A little bit of a pain in the butt getting to because unfortunately there was an accident in the Victoria Tunnel, which did make it a somewhat restricted access up to the school. But we got there in time, so that was good. Ran into a few old Wellingtonian mates down there, which was fun. And fortunately, it wasn't a typical Wellington windy day, so it was a beautiful blue sunshine. Apparently, I couldn't see. I was stuck.
But did you beep when you went through the tunnel?
I would have, except for it was closed because somebody had an accident in it.
Oh, so you didn't even get to go through. Oh, okay.
No, I had to go around the outside. It was very, you couldn't hold my breath or any of that sort of stuff.
No, but that specific tunnel, for anyone who doesn't know, the rule is that you have to beep your horn. If you drive through it, you'll hear it. There is a reason for it. There's like a story behind it. I can't remember what it is, but there is a reason for it.
We'll have to Google it and find out. But did run into a lot of people in the audience who were like, say, "Oh, you're the Macro Lounge podcast guy." I said, "Yeah, that's me." And then somebody said to me the other day, "I think you should change the name to the Sparkle Lounge." I went,
"Yeah, that's fine by me."
So we might have to float that with management. But although I think if that requires any additional work and changing any editing or logos, she might tell us both what we can do with that suggestion.
The Bikini Lounge.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit creepy. What if I float her boats?
It depends if it's your face.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I won't take that personally. She's on the tail end of prep and she's talking smack already. God, you still got a few weeks to go. We'll cut you some slack on that one.
The shit talk is more brutal.
I know. I say, "Is this what I have to look forward to for the next couple of weeks?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez, I need to have words with Ed. Like, all right, we've got to.
He's worse than I am.
But he's not on prep brain. What's his excuse?
He's Asian.
I'm not going down that route. I'll get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. So first up, moving right along, let's get straight into the sparkles. And just for warning everybody, we are only going to talk about the sparkles. Once we get to the men, I stopped paying attention and I went out and had a coffee. So first up, we had the figure girls. There was not a huge figure representation in this show. There was only three, sorry. There was, in Masters, you had Lofi Caddick, and this was her first time in Masters. She'd been Bikini in the past. I thought that was a really good decision on her part to step into figure. She's got a really good structure for figure, and I know she's been working with Jordan Earl and put on a fair amount of mass in the last year. She's done really well there. I thought she looked really good in that class. Then we had in the novice and the Masters, in the novice we had Valashi, Renata, and Lofi again. And then in the open class B, you had Valashi and it says Natalie Hoffman on the list, but I'm pretty sure it was Natalia. I know she's Russian, but lives in Wellington. So Lofi took out the Masters and then Valashi took out both the novice and open. And it was a really good quiet class. I personally thought 19 Valashi, she had the size, but I thought her conditioning was a little off. And I actually thought Lofi brought in a better overall package from a conditioning perspective, but you could see why the judges went for Valashi she probably fit the figure mold more classically than Natalia, I thought looked great. My notes, I felt that she really wasn't figure and it wasn't really the place she should have been, which turned out to be correct because she popped up in Bikini about 5 minutes later, which I thought was much more appropriate for her.
She does have a beautiful V-taper from the back shot though. Just looking at, I've got a few photos that I'm looking at from Chris.
Yeah, our crowdfunding's not going too well on that new camera, by the way. Well, probably because we haven't started it.
Yeah, we haven't got a page yet.
We must get the producer onto that.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at the photos, yeah, pretty much what you said, it does come across on the camera. even though your camera's trash.
Hey, I did get some
Maybe.
help. There were people under strict instructions to actually get extra videos to send to them.
Good. But yeah, so overall thoughts for figure?
As I said, small, which was a little bit disappointing, but I thought they were all good representations of figure. And they had some fantastic sparkles on it. I know 2 of them.
Designing Lofi's suit was so fun. Because she came in wanting a deep red, but then because she has a darker skin tone and darker hair tones, it was like, we need something a little bit bright in there. So we added the yellowy golden, which just looked
I thought that worked really well, actually. I thought, and it really sort of popped out. As I said, to me, in that class, she was a standout. So, but I could also see where the judges went the other way. Then we moved into wellness. Again, not huge. There were 4 girls in wellness. To be fair, 2 of them I didn't think were actually wellness. 7, which is Ella Stutter, I thought she was more bikini, although she had stunning structure. Then number 25, Olivia, again, I thought she came second in the open class. She had a really nice shape, but her conditioning was a bit off, I thought. And
I think she did bikini last year.
Yeah, I think I could see she was definitely, looked like she growing into wellness and just not quite there yet.
Because she was one of my clients last year. I'm pretty sure she did bikini last year.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. There was also there was Amber, number 28. I think she was 28. She was in the green in the open. I thought she had a really nice shape.
Black.
Amber. Oh, is that black? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong side. Colorblind. Amber had a really good structure. She took out that one. Again, I don't think she was really wellness, but I thought she looked great, presented well, posed well. Definitely got the wellness sort of, you could see that the touches coming in, but I think it really came down to between Shana and Olivia, who was 25, who was in the green, I believe. They sort of fit the criteria more. It was really, I think Shana's done really well under the guidance of Jasmine and Dean at, was it DJL Pro Coaching? Sorry guys, my bad. Hey, look at me giving all these coaches shout outs today. I'm on a roll. I haven't even mentioned myself once.
Conflict of interest.
No, not at all. I didn't have anybody in that class. Screw it. Move on to the next one. No, I thought Shanna looked amazing. I thought her upper body had really come along quite nicely, especially from the side too. I thought her glutes looked really, really good. Conditioning wise, obviously not 100% there, but nor would you expect her to be, because obviously nationals are still 4 weeks away or thereabouts. But I thought that was a really good showing for Shanna, and she really deserved those placings, taking out both the open class A, and I believe did they do it overall? She was overall wellness champion. Well deserved for her, and she's absolutely lovely, that girl. I believe she's a former rugby player, which I wouldn't want to piss her off. So
she's been making massive improvements every single time she competes. So every year she just keeps getting better and better. Yeah, and that condition keeps getting more and more dialed in. So yeah, exciting things coming for Shanna.
Yeah, I think she's doing. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in nationals with a little crisper conditioning. I think between her, she probably would be sort of battling Corey Keedle. I think they were the same class, aren't they? Class A.
And then Holly.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, Holly will be in Class B.
Sure.
Haven't seen any taller girls yet. So it'll be interesting to see how Shana and Corey stack up against each other. So that'll be fun to look forward to. What did we have next? We had the Fit Model, the newest division in the IFBB. Not huge amount of athletes in that class. Again, as I said, that's still finding its feet. In Novice, there were 2, Emily Lilani, and then an open A and B you had Victoria, who I thought was a really, really good representation of that Fit Model class. She was in the blue bikini, the dark blue with the red hair. I thought she presented really well, and like the stage presence was good, the posing was good, and so they moved through that pretty quickly. So she took out she was second, actually, I think, 29. I thought she was first. No, 30. Oh, it's junior. Sorry, looking at the wrong one. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong.
Overall was Victoria, or at least what you've told me.
Oh yeah, Victoria Glover, under 31. Yeah, she looked great. And then they were very similar examples of the Fit Model. They were probably a little smaller than, say, we saw in Auckland the week before. I think the judges probably had a little bit of they did put them through their paces a bit, which was quite cool to see. But yeah, that was, and they all had the right bikinis on too, so that was good to see. There was no issues there. Again, same thing, slightly different cuts in the back, which, now as a designer, Rachel, we've talked about too. It's like, what is the right cut? And again, I guess that is always going to be open to interpretation. Like, for years with Bikini, when we had the old IFBB rules, we had the modest cut, and then you always had the girls trying to get it smaller and smaller and smaller.
I mean,
so there'll probably be an element of that for a while, but there were no right.
One thing I will say here is, in theory, you could actually measure it but just from fashion school, basically what you would do is you would take the full glute measurement and then you would divide it by 4. It's the width of the suit, in theory. These suits are definitely not that, because a 50% real coverage would be humongous.
Yeah.
I have asked AI reckons it's about 30 to 40%.
Yeah. Well, we always trust AI because that's how we do that.
They all told me 30 to 40.
I'm not going to get into that argument.
All right, yeah. Just fashion design and math. There is a lot of math involved, and so 50% is measurable, but apparently we don't measure it.
Yeah. There we go.
Prep crankies.
Okay, I shouldn't have asked that question. I should have just skipped that class and needed to do.
Anyway.
Now,
overall, there's definitely a consistent cut. Like, it's not like obviously exactly the same, but it is quite a consistent shape across the board that you see overseas, across different countries. It is a pretty consistent shape now. So yeah, more or less, we know kind of what to expect with those suits at this point.
Yeah, and then we moved into the bikini class where we had 2 juniors in that. We had Chantel, which was good to see her back. I haven't seen her since some stage last year, I believe, or was it the year before? I can't remember.
Last year, I believe.
Was it last year? I thought she'd made some really, really good improvements. Like her conditioning was good. She had some real good growth. I think she's with Worthy of Victory and Frank. Wouldn't surprise me, everybody else is. I think she could, interestingly enough, looking at the international standards of what's been going on, she potentially could do quite well in fit model, but I know that's kind of some of the girls, it's a hard pill to swallow. They're kind of like, I want to be bikini. So I think she could
probably clean up in that. Doing fit model this year. I think it was just this show that she didn't do it. I think she's actually doing South Island Champs, like just from what I've seen on her Instagram. Okay. So I believe she's doing next week fit model.
So what you're saying is I haven't completely put my foot in my mouth and absolutely offended her.
No,
I was not worried. You were giving me the sideways look and I was like, shit, I've done it again.
No, I was just thinking, because I swear I remember seeing on her Instagram, and then because I know that she has a couple of fit suits handy.
All right, well that makes sense. Who else was in this class? In the bikini, the true novice, you had Natalia, forgive me, Natalia. I think it's Natalia, but it's written down here as
Natalie though, because on my when I made her suit, I swear it was under Natalie Hoffman.
Okay, I'll go with that. I thought she looked better and more suited to fit model than she did in figure, that's for sure. And I thought she was in bikini. Sorry, shut up, Chris. Don't know what you're talking about. Which one of us has got prep brain again? Hang on.
Both.
I'm just old. Leave me alone. That's called ageism. Stop picking on me.
I do like her structure for bikini. I do think her posing does still look a little bit figure-ish. Like, you can tell that she also does figure posing. So it's something potentially, if she is going to stick with bikini, just to kind of soften up a little bit on the posing. But definitely she has a beautiful structure for bikini.
That's definitely true. And then also in the first timers, there was number 29, Emily Clark. Good representation again. She was. That was fit model. Shut up, Chris, you're talking complete bollocks. So you had Natalie Hoffman, Jess Yates, who was in second in that class. Jess I thought was a really good. She was nice condition, but I thought a little bit stringy. And these are just, guys, I'm just speaking from looking at my own opinion and sort of putting that old judge's hat on and saying, what could they do to improve? I'm not really trying to pick them apart, but I think I'm trying to sort of be relatively impartial these days. I thought she presented really well. I thought the suit coloring was good for her, but just I thought she may be a little bit under-muscled and under-conditioned. And I thought Natalie, number 20, really suits that class.
Under-muscled and under-conditioned?
Over-conditioned. She was a bit stringy.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, I thought you meant over-conditioned, but you said under-conditioned, so I just wanted to clarify.
Again, hang on. I need times as well.
Actually, on that note, I'm going to ask you a question here that might be of interest to people. On the judge's perspective, do you think it's better to be a little bit, like, if you're slightly under-muscled, is it better to have slightly too much conditioning or to bring in a bit of a softer look? I
would probably go for the slightly softer look just to play it safer. That does seem to be what gets written, because if you don't have the muscle, then the obvious. So I would go if it's the slightly softer look. That'd be my advice.
Because on the athlete side, I know that usually people would probably prefer to be slightly too conditioned, because then you know that you've done everything you can. So it's interesting to have the two different perspectives.
Yeah, it's a very, very good question that you raised there.
We just were talking about bikini. Was that novice? Oh, I was looking at the open photo.
That was novice, yeah. Then we had, so that was juniors and true novice. So true novice, they've changed the name. It used to be first timers, now that's called true novice. Yeah, so it used to be first timers and they changed it to true novice, which is cool. In the masters, there was only one, and that was Sarah Sarah Ord, who we all know we've spoken about before, who I think has got absolutely stunning structure. She had made some really good improvements, I think, over the previous year, predominantly in her upper body. At the risk of getting myself in trouble, which, hey, we all know that does happen from time to time, I personally think, and I mean this with the utmost care and respect, I think Bikini has kind of moved on from where Sarah is. I think she is probably I think she would clean up in fit model. She has got beautiful structure. She's got just the right level of musculature. She's not particularly, while she's making improvements every year, you are seeing these bikini girls, like particularly if you saw some of the pro shows that are on this weekend. These girls are like the one that you sent me through last night. It was like, holy Jesus.
They are getting pretty jacked in bikini. It's getting pretty jacked. Even fit model, like I've been sending Chris a few photos of fit model winners, and there's a lot of them actually who are winning their pro cards who are bigger than pretty much even some of our bikini pros in New Zealand. So yeah. It is getting heavily muscled, even at the.
And I just think Sarah's got such nice lines from like a balance and symmetry perspective, and she just presents so well, and her posing is really smooth. Yeah, very striking. And it's going to sound kind of corny, but she presents classy. You know what I mean? And she's just like a real good example. And I just think she kind of fits more of what they're using as the stereotype model for fit model now. She looks like Ashley Kay in 2013. And that is not an insult. That is a compliment. So please, Sarah, don't take this the wrong way, or Frank, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just saying I think that class, I think she could own it, to be fair. All right, that's enough getting me in trouble.
Anyway, the goddess herself. Actually, I mean, she's the only new one, but Natalia, oh my God. Now, how many jaws dropped open when she walked out?
It was very quiet. It was, I will admit, I was very nervous, to be fair. Full disclosure, Natalia is one of our secret weapon teammates. I was very nervous. Not so secret now. I kept posting over all the pictures. She's like, top secret, don't look, don't pay any attention. It was, to be fair, in that open lineup, there was 4 ladies. You had Jess Yates was in there, Sarah Ord again, Chantel was up there, and Natalia. I thought Chantel really held her own really well. In fact, she was probably better conditioned in the glutes than Natalia was. But Natalia has the X factor.
Natalia is everything.
Yeah, she walked out. Her bikini was brilliant. Her tan color was. You're welcome. Yes, well done. Good job. Right, golf clap for her. Golf clap for the bikini zone. Her tan color, her tanning was brilliant.
Oh, I wonder who did that.
Thank you.
Great coach, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Fantastic team around her.
Okay, we're not talking about us. This is about Natalia. Come on.
It's all about the people who made the look.
And to be fair, also, this was her very first time she's ever been on stage. She's never competed.
She is a weapon.
So she could have done a true first timers, and that would have really freaked some people.
Oh my God, imagine. Everyone would have been like, can we check her ID, please? Like, she's competed before.
Yeah, clearly. And no, it was dominant. It was dominant. I told her that this morning when we did the review as well. Shoulder structure, waist structure, legs. Her biggest problem is not flexing. She's blessed to have good muscle mass, so she has to let the muscle do the talking, which is what you want.
She is New Zealand's Issa Puccini.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She's also Brazilian from birth.
Yeah, exactly. But she is.
You don't hold
I
that.
call her a goddess because, like, she just literally is one. Like, you just look at her and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, and she's still got room for improvement, obviously through to nationals. But it was, it was a really interesting comparison of Natalia versus Chantel. They were the 2 front runners in that one, and they really, slightly different looks. Natalia is blessed with the exaggeration of symmetry. Like, she's got wide shoulders, narrow hip waist, wide hips and glutes, and she really is the caricature of it. So I would say, secret's out of the bag. There is now she's got a target on her back, and there are a couple of now front runners for nationals, and so I'm looking forward to seeing her up against a couple of the other more senior competitors. So
I'm looking at her front shot right now, and she's standing so front on. Like, she's barely facing sideways, and her glute is like bigger than everyone else combined.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also, Chris is trying really hard to be impartial here. I'm not.
I'm trying. I'm failing dismally, but I'm giving it a crack.
We are all obsessed with Natalia.
Yeah, we are. We'll just admit that. Now we're going to change this to the Natalia show, but we'll just call it that. And so we're the Natalia fan club. Yeah, but there was a lot of like when she came out. So that was that.
Beautiful stage presence. Like you can see in all the photos, she just got this beautiful bright smile, and like she's just like very comfortable up there, like which is really impressive for a first timer as well.
And that's also give some credit to our posing coach that we use, Rhiannon. She's worked really well with her. She does have a background in ballet, so she flows beautifully. And I know
these unfair advantages.
Yeah, she's also really nice.
No, I'm still trying to find something to not like about her, and
we discovered it. We found it. We've discovered what it is. She has oily skin. Yep. It's hard. Pretty much. It was like, okay, what's left of that one? But yeah, no, she's got the stage presence posing wise. But it was a really good lineup in that open class, and I think like Chantel's. I mean, again, Chantel's still a junior, so she's still got a lot of growing to do. But and then you had the. Jess was in there too, who I thought held herself really, really well. And then in the open overall, you also had Natalie Hoffman or Natalia. I'm sure we'll find out who it is, a taller one. So it was a really good overall lineup for a natural show and sort of bodes well for what's coming for nationals. As always, of course, this is where we end our portion of coverage for today's show, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody else from here on in doesn't wear sparkles. And as we all know, at the Macro Lounge here, we only really like sparkles.
Exactly.
So that was good. That was a very good show. Then what do we do? Moving on to the open regional. I've got far too many pictures of Natalia here. I wonder why. There's another.
She is just incredible. Yeah, I'm actually trying to find where the regional started as well, because again, all the photos of Natalia.
I got a bit carried away. What can I say? Wanted to make sure. There we go. On to the. Bear with me 1 second.
Oh, I think I found it too. Figure. Oh my goodness, I keep looking at it. So we had 2 figure girls by the looks of it?
Yep, 2 figure girls. Tony Holmes, I think, was the only new one in that one, number 64.
Yes.
That was she. I really liked her look. She had really good conditioning. She had really good ratios. The bikini and her skin tone really suited her really, really well. And she was up against the Valashi Renata, who won the natural as well. So Valashi took out the Novice B, and Tony took out open class A, and they didn't announce an overall, but from recollection, they actually awarded her the overall. They normally don't, when there's that many, only 2 athletes, but if they didn't, they should have, because she was really good.
Yeah, I'm looking at the photo, and like her back shot is stunning. Yeah, good muscular,
beautiful back shot,
conditioning,
really nice quads. Yeah, had a really nice back, and I thought that was a really good example of that particular class. And then we moved into the wellness. There was again pretty much the same lineup as the natural show, with the addition of Casey, who was in open class B, and she took that class out over Amber, who was in number 77. Again, there was some mixed conditioning. Shape and muscle mass was good. In general, I felt the conditioning was not ideal for wellness. But again, most of these ladies are targeting, still 4 weeks away. I thought it was interesting putting Casey next to Shanna. Shanna took out the overall again in that one. Casey I thought, had a really good shape, and we've seen her compete. I don't think recently. She's
yeah, she definitely has. A couple of years ago, but I think she was in bikini. She's made massive improvements.
Yeah, definitely the shape and the muscle mass is there. It's just the conditioning wasn't quite on point.
Very, very much improved from her previous shows, though.
Yeah,
she's looking very good.
And she really has that wellness look, particularly from behind, with the the different glute structure from the bikini. But when you see the 2 of the girls side by side, Shanna's upper body was just on point, and Shanna's got really good side glutes. So again, she's done amazing work in the off season. And then we went into fit model, and I'm pretty sure pretty much the same class, same results there. Again, Victoria took that one out. I think she just presents really well. It's a shame it's not bigger, but we also know that wellness still is growing in New Zealand, and even it took bikini a long time to really sort of take off in New Zealand. So I don't think we'll see. I kind of thought we'd see more girls in New Zealand this year going to fit model, because
honestly, I think the suits are why people aren't doing it. I'm going to be honest. Because a lot of people don't like the coverage. It's very hard to suit that coverage. Very few people actually suit the fit model suits, which is something I've struggled with. Like, that's one of the reasons I get a little bit frustrated with these suits, because I spent weeks trying to get these to look good. But yeah, some people, it's very, very difficult to suit that coverage and style.
Okay.
So yeah, that's,
Do you
I do
that
think
kinda
it has an aspect of it.
Do you think that kind of goes back to, like as I was saying before, the older days when we had the IFBB with the separation with the Pro League, and when the bikinis were getting like people were trying to sneak it in a little smaller, get closer to pro cuts as opposed to the modest cut type thing.
Yeah, I have a feeling they will eventually allow something like a Brazilian. I have a feeling
Yeah.
that's where I think they will. Because, I mean, even Bikini has gone, it's a thong now. It is. Like, I don't care what the rules say, it's a thong. Industry standard fashion thong. That's what it is. And basically, they just don't want to G.
Well, fortunately, they haven't done that with the men.
No, yeah, but with the girls, like, it makes the glute shape look so significantly better to have a slightly smaller cut. So having that 50, it does make it very hard for the girls to actually show what they're being judged on, because it's being covered. Their glutes are being judged. It's one of the mistakes. So it is very hard.
I just thought conditioning wise, because generally the girls in New Zealand have been slightly, for the majority of bikini, not one. We always have one or two every year, like the likes of Barbara and Natalia and stuff like that have got the muscle mass and they look more like that pro look. But majority of New Zealand bikini girls tend to be softer and more under muscled. So I thought a few more of them might have stepped across into fit model. Perhaps also because of the fact that you can't cross over from that class. That might be one of the reasons. That's one of the few that you cannot cross over, which makes sense because otherwise it would make judging.
I mean, the other tricky thing is, so it's like, if we use, like, say, Chantel, for example, she does extremely well in bikini already. And she came second to Lily last year for the pro card in bikini. She is going to clean up in fit model as well. But if you're already doing that well in bikini, why make the switch?
She probably wouldn't fit model.
So yeah, that's also the logic there. Is our standard in bikini is actually very similar to fit model. So at that point, why make the switch?
Yeah, you're right though. She came like second to Lily last year in the pro card, and she does have a really good look. It's just, I guess, if you're going for that pro status, which obviously when you're in the open class and you're in the IFBB, that's the goal, right? Everybody wants that pro card. They want to get that photo with the look at me. Is that where she is? You know what I mean? It's like, would she be better off in the going for the pro status in the fit model, where internationally she's probably going to present a lot more competitively? I've always said, it depends on your goals.
Also, actually, the front pose is another thing that is different, because it is also much harder to suit that front pose. It's much more difficult. It is more structural than the bikini front pose. The bikini front pose, you can alter it a little bit more, and it's easier for more people to suit it. Whereas that front pose is very hard for most people to suit. So that's the other issue that we have with people not.
It's true. Be interesting to see how it goes over probably next year. I think it is.
It will grow eventually, but I think it will take a while and it will take longer in New Zealand because our level of muscularity is nowhere near as high as it is in the States.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I personally, at this stage, don't think it should be a pro category. It's too new. There's not enough competitors. We don't really know what it is. But again, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. So anyway, moving on.
It wasn't. Would people do it if it wasn't a pro category?
Actually, no, they probably wouldn't.
So?
No, probably not. I mean, we also know that's why a lot of people don't compete in earlier shows, because unless there's a pro card up, they don't want to do it. Which I think is a waste of that's a whole different rant. You get me on that, I'm going to get in trouble.
You do that on another episode.
All right. Ask Chris questions to get him in trouble. Let's see what we can come up with. All right, moving on into the true novice. We had from Wellington, we had number 65, Natalia Martin. Nat took that one out. She's obviously made a lot of growth in her upper body. I thought she looked really good through there. Juniors, we had Jess Yates, who I think we'd seen
earlier. Yep.
Taking photos of that for some reason. She did well in that. The Masters was a big class. This is there were 5 girls in that. I really would like to see them start doing with the Masters women what they do with the Masters men. Like in the men's class, they had 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 plus. And even though there was only one guy in the 50 plus and one guy in the 60 plus, they split it up. In this particular Masters class, you had women that were 35, 40, 45, and 50. And, whilst nobody wants to go up and compete just against themselves and say, oh, look, I got a gold medal and I was the only one in the class, the judging criteria has to be slightly different. And I thought all of these ladies presented extremely well, only slightly biased because we had 2 girls in it. but I thought that all of them were very good in their own areas. I thought the top three in that class in particular, like Nat Martin, looked really well. This is her first time on the IFBB stage, so she did the first timers, and then we had Naomi Clayton, the first time she's competed in IFBB in New Zealand, and I thought her growth year over year, she looked phenomenal.
Amazing.
I'm proud of her. Yeah, she's one of our girls. I was really proud of her. And fortunately, she was too. She was happy with her look, and that was the main thing, right? And then we had the top three. You had Fiona Crawford, also one of our girls, and Sarah Ord and Kylie Milligan. I personally, I don't think I'm being slightly biased. I think Fiona has the best glute tie-ins in the country. She has got that shit down. Sorry, excuse my French.
Her back shot is incredible.
He's probably.
Is she?
She just got off stage from doing the New South Wales Masters as well, and the feedback she got from there was best back shot in the country in Australia.
What height class is she in? B? Is that what height class is Barbara in?
It'd be the same class.
Well, that will be an interesting one to see those two.
Will be, because she look. I think she got penalised in this class a little bit. I don't think her muscularity was rewarded. Also, a little bit. Her front pose was much improved this week over last week. I was really happy with the package that she brought to the stage. She was a little bit flat towards the end of the day, but tired. But I think she presented real well. As I said, her glute hamstring tie-in is next level, and she just needs to bring in the lateral side of her glutes. So when she does her front pose, it's much more dominant. But she knows that, and she's now qualified, and she will be off to the NPC Euromasters in Milan in the first week in November, which has always been her target. And last year she came 6th out of how many? It was dozens of girls. So, she's been pushing hard for that show this year. So I think she's going to do really well. She has that look they like in Europe. She's got more muscle. She's harder. Not generally well rewarded in New Zealand, and probably never will be. So
I feel like
Sarah Ord came second in that one.
I was going to say, I feel like Fee's look is something that's very dependent on being who's there on the day and what they're rewarded. So she has an incredible look, but I feel like if everyone else looks slightly different, like what happened in Aussie, it can be easy to not reward her because she looks slightly different, even though she has the muscularity and all the conditioning. So yeah, she has a phenomenal look, but unfortunately, yeah, for her, it can be just standing against the right people. Not to say that it's going to be easier for her or something. It's just, it's a different look.
No. And I think that reflected in the open division where she took that out. And as I said, Sarah was second in that class. And again, Sarah, we all know I'm a big fan of Sarah's. And then first in this class was Kylie Milligan, which I almost yelled out, ID, because I didn't think she was over 35. She looked really, really good. Good level of muscle mass, similar in the upper body to Fee. Probably doesn't have quite the lower body development, but again, it was more along that flow that the judges were looking for. So I thought she looked really, really good.
Struggle with Fee. Sorry, I'm coming back to it. The struggle with Fee is she could have been first in this class. She could have been first The struggle with Fee is that she actually could have come first. I know, but she could have if they had been rewarding a slightly different look. Yeah. It depends on how they're reading the criteria. So on another day with a different judging panel, same lineup, she could have been first. There would be an argument. So yeah. Yep,
there could have been an argument either way on that one. So again,
sorry, Chris is trying really hard to be impartial here.
What do we have?
I'm not saying she should have. I said she could.
Could have, yeah. No, and again, I thought Kylie was great. I thought she presented a really pleasing overall package.
They all looked absolutely stunning. So yeah, it could have gone any way.
Again, I don't think Red's Fee's colour. I know
she really wanted to try it. She just really wanted to give it a go. I think I had the conversation with her, but yeah, she really wanted to give the red a go.
Yeah, she has admitted that it's not her colour, so we're moving on from that. Then what did we move on to? We had the novice class. We had Bridget Taylor. I took that one out, novice B.
First time on stage in a while.
Yep.
It's been a couple of years since she's maybe
in a novice. And then back we had it has been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. I thought she was going into wellness for some reason, but I thought she presented really well. Like she's got a really nice shape. Conditioning wise, a little smooth, a little soft, which is probably why she did take out that class. But when she was in overall again, so it was interesting when she was in the overall an open speed between her and Fiona. I honestly didn't think they were going to reward Fiona for that one. I thought they were going to go with Bridget. So I was quite happy. What do we have? Novice D, we had Natalie Hoffman was back in that one. She took that one out again. I think either Fit Model or Bikini is the right place for her to be. She's really got the good lines. Then we moved on to the Open. There were only 3 girls in this one. I believe the only difference in this one was Kylie from the Masters division was in this one. So you had Chantal again and Natalia. That was pretty much a slam dunk from the minute that it happened. That was Natalia all day, every day, not by
Goddess herself.
but again, I thought, yeah, but and the overall was actually only between Natalia and Fiona. So, because they were both the open class winners. So, Christopher sitting in the background going,
you know, and when you said through those photos, I was like, yes, Team Bold Girls, first and second.
Yeah, we were pretty happy with it. And the cool thing was they both presented very well against each other. I would say from the back, again, Fiona is so strong with those. And that wasn't a strength she had last year. She's really pulled that up. That back pose with the hamstring tie-ins, I think she actually took that back pose. You could argue that Natalia has much fuller glutes, more three-dimensional, but Fiona was much more conditioned through the back than Natalia was. Natalia, however, has a more three-dimensional glute structure, wide. Fia's not blessed with a narrow waist. In fact, she likes to tell me she doesn't have one. But I think that the two girls they actually went really well up against each other, and I think Fiona well and truly was very, very competitive in the overall title. But of course, it went to the goddess herself, Natalia. So we were.
I would say if we were looking at conditioning and muscularity, Fia would take it, but Natalia just is blessed with that massive structure, like that insane structure. So if we're talking muscularity and conditioning, Fia would take it, but then unfortunately Natalia just has that X structure, and it's very undeniable. It's very hard to it's hard to beat.
Yeah, and interesting, they both weigh about the same amount.
Oh,
There's not much difference. Yeah, they're pretty close. Yeah, but I think there's only about 1 kilo in it. So it's interesting how the muscles dispersed. But yeah, again, you've got the wide shoulders, narrow waist, wide hips of Natalia, full of muscle bellies, particularly through legs, primarily from the ballet dancing and stuff like that. So it was a really good, even though it was a smaller showing, it was a really good show for all of the female categories, I thought. And I was really encouraged to see some people coming back, plus so there was some new talent in there. And we don't often see, you kind of see the same people for about 4 or 5 years in a row, and then they kind of like fall off. But it was really good, I think, all around to see that. And there were some, as you said, different examples of different physiques, which in different shows, different judging panels. Although to be fair, I think the judges did a really good job. That was really smoothly done. They had a few technical problems with some of the sound at one stage. And again, that's something that was the music was, and I think that was well and truly out of their control. But it ran pretty fast, pretty quick. Lighting probably wasn't as good as it was up in Auckland. It was a little orange, I thought. And again, you dictated with what the venues do and stuff like that. But they ran pretty smoothly. There were no major hiccups or anything like that. So I think they all did good. And what was really good was to see Joe Ulberg's 2 of Joe's daughters were doing the medal presentation, which was kind of cool. So I haven't seen either of them since Joe's funeral last year. So that was pretty cool. But it was good to have this as a to commemorate Joe. And he was definitely a legend in New Zealand bodybuilding. I think he won New Zealand titles more than anybody else, going back to when we started training together when we were 14. So all in all, it was a really good show. It ran very quick. It was done and dusted. In fact, I was at the airport ready to go home way too early. But that was good. And next we've got, what do we got next? So next weekend is the South Island Side Champs, which we won't really be doing a wrap up of because we're not going.
We've mentioned a couple of results just on the side of it.
On side of it, If they do a live feed or something. The next shows that we have coming up that we'll be doing a review on is we've got Waikato coming up, and then interestingly enough, the next day we've got the ICN Nationals. So I'm going to be very tired that weekend because I'm going to be running between the two, and then obviously following that, a little bit of a gap, I think, do we? Because we've got
there's a 1 week gap. And then
we'll talk about stuff that's not competition related.
IFBB Nationals, and then there's the final show of the season is Oceania for ICN as well. Tournament of Champions with the Pro Bikini.
Yep, that'll be. I'm looking forward to that. I haven't decided as of yet if I'm going to go down for the TOC. Problem is getting it.
You'll be at Oceania.
It's a brilliant show.
It's on the same day as Oceania.
Places the same time. I know. It's like great.
Actually, you might have a Saturday, Sunday. You might have the Saturday and Sunday again. That could work.
I don't make enough money to do that.
Yeah, also flights from, what is it, Palmerston North? Good luck.
Yeah, flights into Palmerston North are never that fun. But Shane always does a good.
Hopefully a live stream. Surely a live stream.
Yep, there will be. What else we got going on? Yeah, so as I said, the competitive season's in full swing. It's interesting seeing a lot of people now sort of like you're seeing the FOMO posts coming out, like, you know, people watching people getting ready and then watching other people compete. I'm getting messages saying, "Oh, I've just seen such and such. She's so talented. I wish I was competing this year. What do I have to do?" And it's like, well, start now.
Oh, you're not telling people to wait until they're
What else is going on?
Wait.
No, I'm just like, hey, we might as well start. What about you, Rachel? What have you got going? How many more bikinis left in the tank to be made?
What, 2, 3 left, and then got to do my ones. So I've got 6 outfits, I think, to make for myself, plus my 3 for clients. We're getting there. My bikini rack is looking very empty, so yeah, I've pretty much sent.
You haven't any last minute?
Having a couple of last minute requests, not too many.
You haven't any last minute panics like?
Oh, that's all time, guys. Please, please, please. On a side note, if you have an issue with your bikini, please tell me as soon as you receive it. As soon as you receive it. Do not wait until the day before the show, because that's an issue.
If there's a problem with it, yeah. The thing is, like, if you allow time, don't set yourself up to panic because of things potentially going wrong, whether it's connected with the bikini or the cut's not right or
okay, if the cut's not right, there's not too much we can do about it.
Yeah, not too much you can do about it. But things like, you know, if you start panicking because you haven't booked accommodation for the show or stuff like that, and these are all sort of things that, you know, when you're competing, you need to get that stuff taken care of now, because the last thing you want to be doing is freaking out over something as minor or doing what, you know, Rachel and I did a couple of weeks ago and arriving, 6 hours late. Never a good thing. But yep, as always, we do appreciate everybody tuning in for us this week. We will be back next Saturday. And if you are enjoying the Macro Lounge podcast, make sure you give us a like, a follow, and subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also follow us on Instagram at the macro_lounge_podcast. That's a great place to send us questions. We've got a lot of questions coming through that we will start answering post-season. But other than that, again, thank you very much. And we will see you next week.
Enjoy your week of prep.